You know, Michael Myers never says a word, and that's probably a good thing because the Halloween franchise has a lot of secrets, from lost scripts to bizarre marketing campaigns and horror trivia that even the biggest die-hard fans often miss. So today, we are carving deep into the Halloween franchise with 31 scary facts about Halloween that you never knew. So pop that tape in, I got you, let's go do this. Alright, so 31 scary, deep cut facts about the Halloween franchise. This isn't going to be just, oh, it was a William Shatner mask spray painted white. We're going to dig in and carve right into every movie in this franchise, fact by fact. That is one scary bit of information for every night of October. And let's jump right into it with fact number 1, and that is Michael Myers was almost called the Shape forever. Carpenter's original script never refers to him as Michael Myers. He's only the Shape. Even the credits of the first film, that's how Nick Castle was credited. The human name is almost an afterthought in the franchise, which adds to the idea of him as pure evil, faceless, the boogeyman. So Michael Myers was almost just the Shape. Fact number 2, the original Halloween was shot in the spring, not the fall. Now, a lot of people maybe know about this one, but it was not autumn in California when this was shot, so the production had to bring in leaves from other places and spray paint leaves from around there orange and different colors to make them look like fall, and then they had to reuse them, sweep them up shot after shot. If you pause the movie, you'll notice green grass and palm trees sneaking into the background in places. So the movie that we think of as symbolic of Halloween actually happened in the springtime. Fact number 3, Halloween was almost called the Babysitter Murders. Can you imagine that? The original name, the Babysitter Murders, really on the nose. It wasn't until a meeting when Irwin Yablans actually pitched the idea of renaming it Halloween, instantly giving it a timeless built-in branding of the holiday season that we all remember it with. Without that suggestion, Michael Myers might have just been stuck hunting babysitters forever. And I thought that was pretty interesting. Hopefully, I got his name right. Fact number 4, the pumpkin problem. The prop department, because it was not fall, had a hard time finding pumpkins. It was springtime. So some shots actually feature squashes that were hollowed out and carved instead of proper pumpkins because jack-o'-lanterns weren't available. I actually had the same problem when I filmed my movie Creature Feature that was set on Halloween, and we filmed it in August in Georgia. Getting pumpkins, hard to come by. They had the same problem back in 1978. Fact number 5, the music saved the movie. Test audiences thought the film was boring, straight out boring. Without Carpenter's score, it just didn't have what we think of as the menace of Halloween. So he added the piano stabs, the off time, and suddenly people were actually, in Carpenter's words, watching the movie like this, covering up their ears to keep from being scared. So the music, so iconic with this film, actually saved it. Fact number 6, Jamie Lee Curtis got paid a whopping $8,000 for Halloween. Her entire salary for Halloween 1978, which is still much more than Nick Castle, who got like $25 per day. A little extra fact. Peanuts, maybe, looking back at it, for what might be the most iconic final girl role ever, but $8,000 was actually a fair amount of their budget back in 1978. Fact number 7, that famous Michael Myers mask that we all think of as William Shatner hasn't always been William Shatner. By Halloween 4, they had lost the original mask mold. So in reshoots, there's actually one scene where there is a pink-faced, blonde-haired mask It's on film. If you blink, you will miss it. But the mask was always ever changing for some reasons that we'll get into later. But that's fact number 7. Fact number 8 is one that people get surprised by, and that is the blood is barely there. Despite being remembered as a gory slasher, the first Halloween has almost no blood in it. Carpenter relied on shadows, atmosphere, and suggestion, not gallons of fake blood. And that's hard because when we remember it, you remember it as a violent slasher, and it really wasn't. The blood was barely there. Fact number 9, Donald Pleasance only did it for his daughter. He only took the role of Dr. Loomis, an iconic role that he donned many times, because his daughter was a big fan of John Carpenter's Assault on Precinct 13. So without her, we might not have gotten Donald Pleasance's legendary performance as Dr. Loomis that carried on through multiple movies and has kind of been copied in other films. He did it all for his daughter, and he thought it would be fun to do a movie like this. Thankfully, he did, but it was all for her. Fact number 10, Halloween Part 2's original ending was supposed to be final. The plan was to kill off both Michael Myers and Dr. Loomis in the hospital explosion, but Universal demanded that Michael Myers survive for sequels, and Carpenter himself admits that he was drunk when he wrote that Laurie was Michael's sister, something he said he occasionally regretted later on. But the end of number 2 was supposed to be the end of Halloween as we knew it, but as we know, you can't kill the boogeyman. And that brings us to fact number 11, and that is that Halloween 3 was supposed to be the start of a new tradition. The original plan was for Halloween to become an anthology, and with a different scary story every year. So Season of the Witch was the first attempt at doing that, but audiences, I was there. Audiences revolted when there was no Michael. I myself was against the movie for a long time because I wanted to see Michael Myers. It was only in later years I grew to love the film. That happened to a lot of people, though a lot of people now seems to be very trendy to say that you love Halloween 3. I freely admit I was one of those people who were against it because there was no Michael Myers. He was synonymous with Halloween by that time, so the anthology angle just couldn't work the way they wanted to. But when you have Tom Atkins, you're all right by me. Halloween 3, that one little offshoot of the anthology that could have been. And for fact number 12, we stay in Halloween 3 for the infamous Silver Shamrock song. Say that a few times fast. That creepy jingle is really just "The London Bridge is falling down, with new lyrics, and it is designed to be an earworm. It's supposed to get in your brain like a commercial that you cannot turn off, and that happens when you watch the movie 100%, and it will drive you just about as crazy as if you put on one of those masks. But that Silver Shamrock jingle is just "The London Bridge is falling down." Fact number 13, John Carpenter almost sued Halloween H20. He was originally supposed to direct Halloween H20, which I would have loved to have seen, even though I'm actually a big fan of that movie. But he walked away when producers would not meet his $10 million directorial asking price, which he called back pay for being so underpaid for Halloween 1978. He maybe has an argument there, but he ended up not getting to do anything, and it almost ended in a lawsuit. I, however, actually still like Halloween H20. I know I'm alone on that limb a lot of times. I think it's fun. I think it's got a great cast of characters that are entertaining to watch. I would have loved to have seen what John Carpenter could have done with them. Instead, he almost sued them. Fact number 14, Halloween 4's script once had Michael Myers having a cult tattoo. Early drafts of Part 4 introduced the Thorn cult sooner, which eventually became the weird mythology of Halloween 6, and Myers was supposed to have the cult tattoo then. Just a little tidbit that I found interesting when I was doing this research, and one that I didn't know. Interesting way to go. Fact number 15, the unmade script for Halloween 8 is absolutely bonkers. Oh, before Resurrection, there was actually a script for Halloween 8 that put Michael Myers on trial. Yes, a courtroom drama with Michael Myers on the stand. I cannot imagine that. You can't either. We're going to turn it into a political thriller. I don't know where they were going with it. Thank goodness that script was lost. Absolutely bonkers. Courtroom drama with Michael Myers. No thanks. Get him out in the suburbs hunting babysitters. Fact number 16, Busta Rhymes ad-libbed the famous trick or treat mother line. Yes, the infamous line in Resurrection was improvised. Thank goodness nobody wrote that. It also became one of the most divisive moments in the franchise. The movie is divisive. I don't care for the movie. I don't care for the whole Busta Rhymes angle. I don't care. Busta Rhymes doing kung fu, dropping one-liners in a Halloween movie. Not really my favorite moment in time for the franchise. And to know that line was ad-libbed kind of makes sense. Fact number 17, Rob Zombie's Halloween included a 10-year-old Michael Myers being a foul mouth and swearing all the time. Very much in branding with Rob Zombie. He leaned way hard, in my opinion, too hard into the backstory of making Michael Myers a white trash sort of sociopath. This is the point in time when horror films were obsessed with taking supernatural characters created a long time ago that developed supernatural powers of being killable boogeymen and demons and trying to humanize them. This was all part of that. And seeing a foul-mouthed 10-year-old Michael Myers running around just didn't do it for me. But it kind of killed off his mystique, in my opinion. Not the finest moment in time for Rob Zombie's two films. Fact number 18, the mask was cracked and aged. So unlike William Shatner version, the clean white mask, Zombie's version was rotting, dirt-stained, falling apart, something that he said was symbolic of Michael Myers' fractured psyche and all of that. See, I think that's one of those things that directors like to put on their movies after the fact. Honestly, I just think he did it because it looks cinematic and cool, and then later it's like, oh yeah, it's symbolic of this, symbolic of that. George Romero, he did some of that stuff. A lot of directors like to kind of feel more intelligent after the fact by saying, oh yes, it was symbolic of this. It just looked cool. Let's be honest. And I still think it's very cinematic and cool, but that is why he says it was all dirty and broken. You be the judge. Fact number 19, Halloween 2018 ignored every sequel. It really erased 40 years of lore, 40 years of stalking babysitters, 40 years of body count and mythology that was heaped on and created this boogeyman. And it even erased Laurie's family connections. She had no son that she had in Halloween H20. Suddenly he's gone and replaced with a daughter whom she needs to protect. And you have Michael still as this unstoppable force, but he's lost all of this mystique of all of these years. So very interesting take. There's things I like about it, things that I don't, but it ignored almost everything. And that brings us to fact number 20, and that is Jamie Lee Curtis is the one who pitched Laurie's survivalist arc. Now, Curtis insisted that Laurie be shown as a PTSD turned fighter, survivor, not a passive victim. She wanted the whole fortified house storyline. All of that came from her input. To me, it seems very, very borrowed from the Sarah Connor character in Terminator. I don't know if it fits. It kind of makes sense. It would make sense more if you had not erased 40 years of trauma and everything else of all the sequels. Do with it what you will, but a lot of that came from Jamie Lee Curtis herself. Fact number 21, that 2018 film had alternate endings. So one scrapped ending actually had Laurie Strode die in her final battle, but the test screenings hated it, so reshoots gave her a triumphant victory and survival. So more than one ending, you just never can let Laurie die, and you can't kill the boogeyman. Fact number 22 stays with the 2018 film for something that surprised a lot of people. The whole trilogy, the new David Gordon Green trilogy, John Carpenter, 40 years later, came back as the composer. He did it with his son Cody. They came in to re-record the score, giving it a vintage synth and the modern punch, but getting John Carpenter back for that iconic score, even with his son there to help him, was a huge win for the franchise to bring him back in. So John Carpenter hit the music once again in 2018. Fact number 23, Halloween Kills was delayed by a year. Because of the pandemic, the movie sat finished for a little over 12 months before its release, and during that time, lots of fans spent a lot of time watching the trailers frame by frame, dissecting them to try to glean any information that they could get from those trailers during that time. Big delay. Some say worth the wait. Others, not so much. Fact number 24, Halloween Kills references the Silver Shamrock. In the hospital, you can see the kids wearing Halloween 3 masks. A sly little Easter egg thrown in there acknowledging the black sheep of the family as far as the Halloween movies. I still like it. If you got to really pay attention to catch that part, but you see those masks, and I think that's really cool to be thrown in. Interesting fact there at number 24. Fact number 25, Halloween Ends nearly had a completely and totally different story, which a lot of people maybe really were like, hey, tell me more. Tell me more. Early versions had Michael Myers and Laurie barely appearing in the movie at all. Instead, it was focusing on Corey and a new evil, but fan backlash reshaped the cut into, I feel like, somewhat of a mess because it still tries to focus on him. It almost feels like it's setting up a television series like Welcome to Derry, but, Welcome to Haddonfield, and like why all these evil bad things happen here. So it's almost like two movies jammed together in what was supposed to be this big climactic ending of this trilogy. It's a little hit or miss for me, so it's very interesting that it was supposed to be something completely different altogether. Fact number 26, the Myers house is a tourist attraction today. The Pasadena house from the original film still stands. It is now a small business with a plaque marking it as a film landmark. So, of course, lots of people come by, take pictures, visit the house where the Shape got his start. Fact number 27, Nick Castle played the Shape only once. Well, mostly. In 78, Castle was the Shape. We all know that. But in 2018 and beyond, he cameoed for single shots here and there to kind of continue it. Even though James Jude Courtney is now the one who carries the knife, my buddy Tyler Mane carried the knife for Rob Zombie. There's been lots of Michael Myers. Maybe Castle is the famous, so it's kind of cool that they still have those little cameos thrown in there for single shots. Pretty cool. Fact number 28, Michael Myers' breathing sounds were a total accident. So Carpenter added the heavy breathing in post because he felt the silent shots were just too empty. It became one of Myers' creepiest trademarks, just hearing that breathing and nothing else. But if you were to go and turn the sound off and watch those scenes, you could see where that emptiness is in there, and that's where the strokes of genius comes in with sound mixing and score, sound effects and all that stuff. The right sound effects at the right time can change the atmosphere completely, and that's what the breathing does. Fact 29, the body count across the franchise. Well, across 13 films, Myers has racked up well over 170 kills. Tough to be exact on the numbers, and they vary depending on which timeline you want to count, but it is in excess of 180 and 70 victims have fell prey to the boogeyman. Fact number 30, The Mask still causes legal trouble today. Because it began as a Shatner mask, the franchise has had to tiptoe around licensing for decades. These issues have hounded them since the beginning. That's why the mask design keeps subtly changing. So that mask they had to throw together then and cause them trouble still causes them issues today. Fact number 31 is maybe the biggest, craziest one ever for a movie that launched a franchise that is so iconic. It rebirthed the slasher genre in a whole new way. It basically created the modern slasher genre as we know it. And all of that, John Carpenter still thinks was luck. Despite changing horror forever, Carpenter still insists the success of Halloween was just blind, stinking luck. And surely there's some of that. There's always a lot of luck that plays into success, but we know better. If you watch this thing, it redefined the genre, as I said, but it taps in to like a real primal fear in you, and that music just sets that off. You know something's coming for you, very much like Jaws, and it just sets you off, and the rest is slasher and horror movie history, and you gotta love it. So there you go, 31 facts about the Halloween franchise for 31 nights of October. Whether you love the original, the sequels, or even the Season of the Witch detour over here, the new trilogy, zombies movies, it doesn't matter. The Halloween franchise is full of shadows, secrets, and scary surprises, and that's why we love it. And they keep cranking out movies, and we keep watching them and talking about them all the time, even 40 plus years later. And that's what I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have, please like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And if you'd like to help support the channel more, you can join my Patreon link below. You get special uncensored versions of videos just like this. You get your name and lights on every single video. You get my behind the scenes looks at my filmmaking, 4K physical media reviews, other special members only videos, and so much more over there, and everything goes back into the channel, and I really do appreciate it. But until next time, be kind, rewind like always. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye. I know.